A van camper was driving along Lower Buckeye Road, a place locals say is known for strange sightings at night. As they drove, something caught their eye on the right. At first, it was just a shadow, but later when they checked their dash cam footage, they saw it more clearly. Slowed down, the video showed a crouched figure. Locals say unusual things have been spotted along this road before, and some avoid it after dark. No one really knows what the shape is. It could be a trick of light, motion blur, a person, or even an animal. The Cat Lady van was camping in a quiet spot on Vancouver Island, British Columbia, after a long, stormy day. By midnight, she woke to something happening outside.
Alright guys, that's someone banging on my van pretty loud. I'm not sure if he did any damage, to be quite honest. I don't know if he banged with a piece of wood. He banged on another van too. I'm gonna move.
Someone was banging on her van. But she wasn't the only one being targeted that night. The next morning, she discovered a large dent on the side of her van.
Beautiful damage on my van. I knew when he banged on my van it would sound pretty loud. I thought I was in the back, that's why I was looking in the back there. And I didn't know if he had a stick, that's why I said on my video. But I think he probably had a rock and when he banged on my van, because yeah, this looked like quite a big dent. Unfortunately, I'm kind of pissed, to be honest, guys.
She decided to relocate to a safer spot, relieved that she and her cat were safe. For the first time in 7 years, she had felt genuinely threatened. Chris Sylvia began a solo hike on the Pacific Crest Trail in Southern California on February 12, 2015. He wanted time away and planned to walk south. 4 days later, he called his closest friend and asked to be picked up at a Buddhist temple a few miles off the trail. Mysteriously, the friend arrived, but Chris didn't. Hikers soon found his backpack, sleeping bag, pad, and ID arranged on the ground near mile 127. Close to a dirt road leading toward the meeting point. Everything was there, except him. For 2 weeks, teams searched the area on foot and by air, but Chris Sylvia has never been seen again. It was like he had just disappeared into thin air, and what makes the case especially strange is that all his gear was left behind with no sign of a struggle or accident. In April 2022, the channel This Is Life went car camping near Harrison Hot Springs in British Columbia. The plan was to fish and spend a simple night outdoors. By evening, they reached a camping spot, gathered wood, and prepared to settle in. Soon after setting up, this happened.
These guys shooting guns is a little sketchy. Sketchy. Blast of 4 or 5 every time. It's gone on like 7 or 8 times. We're relatively close. Oof. Oh god. And your doors don't lock?
Well, I'd like to close my windows.
Okay. I think we're gonna be good. I got an axe with me. Oh. Did you guys hear that? These gunshots are getting really sketchy. It almost sounds like they're getting closer to us. I'm actually a little worried. I'm a little scared right now. It's really loud. Now I hear really fast driving. Okay, I'm gonna get in my car. That is way too sketchy. Sounds like there's a car that just flew across the bridge, gun in it, with an exhaust of some sort. Whoa, my heart's beating. That's freaky.
Terrified, they stayed in their vehicles until things went quiet. By morning, they left for the Fraser River to continue their trip. Anna Reyes was on a camping trip with her family when they noticed something strange and started recording.
No, si es como un globo. A ver, vamos, hay que bajar. A ver, quiero saber, Martino, no va a entrar, si se ve como raro.
Behind one of the trees stood a small figure, human-shaped but much smaller than any person. At first, they thought it might be a balloon, but the movement was too controlled, too intentional. It lingered behind the tree, almost as if it were watching them. Anna shared the footage hoping someone could explain what they saw, but the mystery remains unsolved. One thing still makes me wonder, why didn't they get any closer to investigate? This footage was captured by Kyle Campbell on November 24th near Bella Bella on the central coast of British Columbia. He was parked on a logging road when he noticed movement in the corner of his eye and started recording. The video shows a tall, dark figure moving between the trees. Its size and steady stride look unusual. To many viewers, this clip has become one of the clearest Bigfoot-like sightings ever filmed. What do you think? Was it just an animal, or could it really have been Bigfoot? A man was driving on a dirt road in Quebec on a cold January night in 2020. The road was empty. He and his friend were talking when his friends noticed someone standing in the middle of the road.
Vas-y, avance-toi un peu pour voir. Ouais, bah, pas trop non plus. On sait jamais. Attends, il a rien. Ouais, qu'est-ce... Tu fais quoi là? Oh, gamin, rentre chez toi! Allez là! Dégage! Bah, regarde, je vais écrire ça à la face là. Allez, vas-y, voilà.
The person had their back turned and wore strange clothing. Then they realized what it was holding. A chainsaw.
Putain, il est malade! Recule, laisse par-toi, gros! Par-toi, il arrive! Oh putain! C'est quoi ça?
The man immediately turned the car around and sped away. Had they just stumbled upon a serial killer, or was it simply a prankster? Two friends were staying at the White Lagan Bothy in Scotland. Around 2 a.m, one of them, who was awake, heard strange noises coming from different parts of the room with no clear source. He decided to start recording. Later, while reviewing the footage, he noticed shadows moving several times. The shape looked small, almost like a child running past. But it's hard to tell if it was just a trick of his hand or if it really was something unexplained. In 2004, Garrett Barsley was on a Boy Scout camping trip in the Uinta Mountains. Early in the morning, he and his dad went to fish at a nearby lake. As they stood by the water, Garrett's shoes got soaked. His dad told him to walk back to camp and change into dry socks. It was a short, direct path, and the campsite was visible from where they stood. Minutes later, his dad followed, but Garrett was gone. At first, they thought he might have taken a wrong turn or wandered a bit too far. After hours of searching, calling his name, and checking every possible direction, there was still no sign of him. Hundreds of volunteers, helicopters, tracking dogs, yet not a single trace was ever found. No footprints leading away, no clothing, no signs of an animal attack. The dogs picked up his scent, then suddenly lost it, as if he had just vanished or been picked up. So what happened? Some believe he simply got lost, but how does a boy disappear in a wide open area with his campsite in sight? A wild animal seems unlikely. There were no tracks, no blood, no struggle. A kidnapping? There were no roads nearby, no strangers reported. Garrett's scent cutting off so abruptly makes some question whether this was something beyond explanation. To this day, Garrett Barsley has never been found. During their drive to their next destination, these people noticed a person walking along the side of the road. But something immediately seemed wrong. From their angle, it looked like the person had no head. For a moment, the sight was genuinely unsettling. Thankfully, the mystery solved itself. As the man turned around, it became clear he was simply walking with his head bowed down. A creepy moment, but fortunately, just an illusion. Now, if you're enjoying my videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps me creating new stories every week, and it means the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. Jose Flores Terror went camping alone in a remote forest on Halloween. Locals feared this place for its strange lights and silent figures and called it Witch Forest. He went in to explore, but things shifted quickly.
Una zona que está, pues, bien para poder acampar, pero se escucha como si algo estuviera caminando cerca de mí, como si viniera hacia acá. Es muy fácil identificar los pasos aquí en el bosque porque se escucha cuando crujen las ramas del suelo. ¿Hay alguien aquí? Buenas noches. Bueno, dicen que nunca debes de preguntar si hay alguien. Yo creo que va a ser esta zona de acá. Otra vez. Va a ser esta zona de aquí. Aquí es donde voy a armar la casa de campaña. Aquí voy a preparar las cosas. Nada más voy a limpiar un poco la zona. Uy, acaban de caminar atrás de mí. Se acaba de escuchar clarito que caminaron detrás de mí ahora sí. Bueno, voy a tratar de apurarme lo más rápido que se pueda. Después de ya un buen rato, ya terminé de armar la casa de campaña todas estas horas. Y conforme vaya avanzando el tiempo, pues ir a dar recorridos a través del bosque, tratando de no perderme, pero caminar entre el medio del bosque para ver. Se los juro que acabo de escuchar como si alguien hubiera silbado en la parte de atrás. No sé si se captó ahí en cámara, pero yo escuché como un silbido.
Inside his tent, the activity grew stranger. Slow steps circled him, and then this happened.
Acabo de cerrar ahorita la casa de campaña porque se los juro que hay algo corriendo afuera. ¿Quién anda ahí? Hay algo corriendo, pero es algo grande. Y parece que está como que corriendo alrededor de mí. Hoy. ¿Quién eres? ¿Qué quieres? Hoy. Hey.
Something heavy pressed against the tent for a moment. When he looked outside, he saw something that shouldn't have been there.
Hoy. ¿Quién eres? Hey. ¿Quién anda ahí? Hey.
A figure standing completely still between the trees. It looked like a person.
Se los juro que esto no es montado, se los juro 100%. Había algo blanco observándome y se alcanzaba a ver como una cara blanca. Había algo viéndome acá. Se los juro de verdad. Estoy temblando ahora mismo. Estoy temblando. Ya acabo de recoger todas las cosas, ya me voy a retirar de acá. Toca caminar de vuelta, se siguen escuchando pasos de repente cerca de mí. Ya no sé si esté alguien acá, pero todo el tiempo se han estado escuchando pasos. Yo me voy a retirar de acá.
Immediately he packed up and left, but footsteps followed him all the way until he reached his car. He drove off safely, but couldn't get the experience out of his mind. Who was there and why? What were their intentions? On November 22nd, this person was driving to their next destination in Rockford, Michigan, when they suddenly spotted something unusual in the sky. A set of bright lights moved across the darkness, but not in the way aircraft normally do. The lights shifted smoothly, without blinking, and didn't follow any familiar flight path. What were those lights drifting over Michigan that night? Reddit user Matthew2058 shared a photo from Uruguay that quickly caught attention. He was driving along an empty highway with only a single motorcycle ahead of him when he suddenly noticed this. Near the edge of the road, a human-like figure stood alone in the open land. With forests and wide fields stretching out in every direction, the lone figure looked completely out of place. Was it simply a person hitchhiking? Hell on Earth, a UK exploration channel, entered a remote woodland full of old remains and broken structures. Following faint tracks, they found a small caravan hidden among the trees. Inside a nearby shack, they discovered this.
I get the feeling like I'm like scared that there's going to be someone living in it. Yeah. This is weird. It's just a shadow. There's a mannequin in there. Is there a mannequin in there?
Stick the camera in that hole.
Oh my god. Are they mannequins wearing Nazi uniforms? Where the fuck are you?
What is going on?
I've got a weird feeling. But then again, you've got these, which are normally used for hunting, because you have like seed at the bottom to bring in wildlife. We did hear some shooting going on earlier.
Right, that's a really old stone circle. Well, actually, I don't know how long moss. I'm trying to act like an expert.
It takes a long time for moss to grow and stuff, yeah.
So that's been there years.
Satanism.
Mannequins dressed in old military uniforms. The place looked abandoned but strangely arranged, making the scene deeply uneasy. Then, this happened.
Nothing. Did you hear that gunshot? That was loud as fuck. I'm getting out of here.
They decided to leave. It wasn't safe there. A man recently made a terrifying discovery during a camping trip.
我叫一个办法，我要抓。
你想办法把它弄下来。
Yeah， 在树上抓很难。
啊？
在这个树上抓很难，我要。
你把它捅下来。
弄它下来。What do you think, guys?
不会干什么？咱俩上车去吧。马上跳下来咬咱两个呗。
Scott.
Yeah.
Just get some pictures for the lady as well.
A 33-foot snake was perched high up in a tree above him. Many viewers didn't believe the video, saying no one would get this close to a snake that big. What do you think? A woman was driving on an empty highway late at night, with her dash cam recording. The road looked clear until this happened.
Там мужик на дороге стоял.
A figure appeared suddenly right in front of her car. She managed to avoid it and drove away safely. Later, when she checked the footage, the appearance still made no sense. She shared it online, and it turned out that more people had experienced strange things on that same highway. Unfortunately, I could not find the highway's name. This hiker went out for a quiet stealth camp in Wales on September 3rd, 2025. He set up in long grass and stayed low because people and dog walkers were nearby. But then, he heard footsteps in the grass.
I might be going absolutely mad here. I swear there's been like a firefly. I'm gonna shut up. I can hear... I think I can hear footsteps. I can't... I am keeping an extreme low profile right now. I think that the laser was coming from the far side of the trees, but I'm not 100%. I don't think it was actually aimed at me. I think it was just shining a laser for the sake of it. But it's certainly woken me up a little bit. But to be honest, it's been quiet for about 10 minutes now, so I'm not too worried.
There's a dog in here!
A laser light moved through the trees. Someone was standing right beside him. Fortunately, the stranger ran off, but he also packed up fast and left the area at once. A group of friends were on a van camping trip in a quiet area when they experienced something strange. Take a look.
It's not like flying
no.
straight. It's
like
moving.
No, that's a UFO for sure.
Yo, it's like that thing they showed on
Rogan. Whoa. What is that?
It's like that Tic Tac from Rogan, bro.
A craft appeared in the night sky, its lights forming a perfect triangle. The object hovered silently, with no visible movement and no sign of any engines. Naturally, the campers thought they were seeing a UFO. They posted the footage online, hoping someone might have a more grounded explanation. So, do you know what this could be? A solo hiker camped near the Hermitage ruins on the Bruce Trail in Ontario. She reached the site before dark and set her tent beside a stone wall to block the wind. While setting up, she noticed something.
Okay, I'm just in my tent now. When I was setting up, a couple of times I saw lights in the woods. And one time it looked like it was coming right at me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just got busted. I don't know if it's hikers or if it is the park authorities doing rounds. Either way, they didn't come here to the ruins. They just walked through the path. But you know how it is at night. The light just really goes far. It is definitely getting cold. There is a chill in the air, not just temperature, if you know what I mean.
One appeared to come straight toward her before turning away. After nightfall, the wind grew stronger. Inside her tent, she kept hearing movements outside.
I don't know if those are leaves falling or if it's starting to rain. It is definitely a little bit creepy. Like, I'm not scared, but I'm definitely alert. It is 10 p.m. I think it's about time I try to get some sleep. Keep hearing noises outside of the tent. It's pretty close to Halloween, and this is a pretty famous haunted ruin, so I think a lot of people will come here at night to see if they get to see the ghost of William Black.
At first, it seemed like leaves or animals, but later, it sounded like clear footsteps right beside her tent.
What the was that?
She packed up at sunrise urgently, but what was moving beside her tent remained unknown. A man was driving past an old cemetery where one of his ancestors was buried, and he recorded a quick video to show his family. But when he later reviewed the footage, he noticed something unsettling. A woman in white appeared walking between the graves. But the creepiest part is that she wasn't visible before the tree, and she vanished again right after passing the tombstone. She seemed to appear out of nowhere. He's now convinced he captured a real ghost. On October 25th, 2022, Kevin from the channel Small Plots and a friend went camping in a quiet corner of a state forest in upstate New York for one evening. They set up camp, cooked dinner by the fire, and enjoyed their day. But when the night settled in, the forest changed. As they were sitting by the campfire, they suddenly heard something.
What was that?
It was very strange.
I know we've been joking around, but what was that?
Later, the same sound echoed again.
That had to have been a person, right?
It sounded like a person at first, but then the hooting of it sounded like a crazy bird. I don't know.
I've never heard that in the woods. It was like, whoop.
But really high pitched.
Yeah, it sounded like a monkey.
Yeah.
It sounded like a monkey or something.
I thought it was like a woman hooting. And then a whoo, whoo, whoo. Like a...
Should we respond? Woo! Woo! What was that?
Totally ruined my pizza log.
I've never heard that in the woods. Ever.
Yeah.
That sounded like a monkey. And it wasn't far. That was close. That was a close by thing. What was that? I just want to keep rolling in case it happens again. That was spine. That was spine tingling.
Yeah, I don't even know what
that
to
was.
think
That
about
was
what that
chilling. I don't know what that was. It sounded like a person. I've never heard an animal around here make that sound. That had to have been a person.
Despite all their experience with wildlife, they couldn't identify who or what was out there.
Yeah, I have a chill down my spine. I don't know what is happening.
I keep hearing things.
Yeah.
Not that same thing, but
yeah,
creepy.
Like things around us. Anytime we like kind of lose focus on what's around us and get into a conversation, we start hearing things like walking towards us again.
While checking the area, Kevin found bits of trash scattered near their camp, confirming that someone had been there before, or maybe was still around.
And now I just hear things like stick cracking around us. Now I'm just freaking out. Now I'm just nervous. Luna, are you nervous? She doesn't seem too nervous. She seems okay. Which is, I guess, a good sign. Or not, because she didn't see the hunter standing next to us earlier.
No, she's not known for her eyesight.
Yeah, we had like half of a conversation with that hunter before she realized he was there and then started freaking out. So you're not exactly a litmus test on what's going on around us, I guess.
Fortunately, nothing happened that night. But the memory of that sound stuck with them. Was someone watching them out there in the darkness? A van camper had been sleeping in a parking lot overnight. The next morning, he noticed something odd in the car beside him. He quietly began recording and later posted the video online, saying a strange figure was sitting inside the vehicle. He claimed the footage didn't even capture how unsettling it looked in person. Not only did the person look unusual, their behavior was strange too. They stared into nothing for almost an hour. He also described feeling a strong, heavy pressure coming from the car, which made him believe the figure wasn't human. People in paranormal groups agreed. Something about the scene felt wrong. A man was checking footage from his trail camera set up in a remote North Carolina forest when he found one odd frame. It showed a tall, fur-covered figure standing behind a tree. Shocked and looking for answers, he shared the image online. But after studying the photo, something didn't seem right. Why would he place a trail camera only a few feet away from another tree and aim it directly at the trunk? Was the camera positioned like that by accident, or was the entire sighting a setup? Henry was camping near a quiet river when he started live streaming. During the stream, he spotted something on the other side.
Cabra se pone en dos pies en pleno live de Uruguay. Dios, miren. A la madre, miren raza. No mames, ay, este calofrío me dio, güey. Ay, Dios mío. Y luego vuelve a la normalidad. Miren, se bajó. Miren. Se bajó, miren. Miren, se bajó, miren. Dios, raza. Dios. Miren. Ya no está parada, miren. Miren la raza, Dios mío.
At first, its shape looked human-like, but then it turned out to be a goat. It stood in a way that didn't feel quite right, almost like something was bending the wrong way. Then it dropped to all fours and looked like a normal goat again. Still, many viewers said the movement felt off, almost like it was mimicking the shape of a person. Honestly though, I think it was just filmed from a funny angle. Even so, I get why even a goat could feel eerie on nights like that. This footage was uploaded by the channel What Day Is It Woven, a UK outdoor adventure channel. On November 16th, 2025, they camped in a secluded woodland area in the United Kingdom, a forest known for strange sounds after dark. After setting up and cooking his meal, the woods slowly came alive.
Bro, can you hear that?
Yeah. Scary, is it?
Mate, people probably say that it's haunted just because of the screech.
As the night deepened, sharp scratches and high screeches began echoing around the camp.
Whoa.
Does he think we're doing it to it?
I don't know.
Does he think we've got a mating call somewhere? Hear owls going all night. Bit strange, but well, it's not really that strange. Heard some really weird noises earlier as well, like screaming. Bit strange, but
Almost certainly wildlife, but in the darkness, every noise felt far more unsettling. By morning, the tension faded. They packed up their gear and headed home. Dee went camping alone deep in the Ohio woods. Her car was parked far from the campsite because at first everything felt completely normal. But then she heard movement behind her.
I'm not scared. I'm nervous, but...
She lifted her torch and scanned the trees. The beam caught something. A pale, human-shaped figure crawling on all fours. Moments later, a sharp scream echoed from deeper in the woods. Completely terrified, she packed her things as fast as she could and headed straight back to her car. Viewers who saw her footage were convinced she'd encountered a skinwalker. On November Day in 2025, Carrie from the channel UK Carrie Outdoors set up her tent in a secluded woodland area in the UK. Darkness fell quickly, and soon the forest was filled with unsettling noises.
When I tell you there's some really strange noises going on in the woods tonight, and even though the rational part of your brain is saying, oh, it's the deer, it really does set your anxiety off. Sorry you can't really see me, it's so dark. Obviously I'm relying on the head torch, but I've heard some really, really crazy noises which I've tried to pick up on camera for you guys. And there's one thing being rational about it and being logical about it, and there's another thing being in the middle of the woods, in the dark, and hearing it. It's a totally different experience, I'm not going to lie.
Later that night, her lantern began acting strangely.
The spot where I'm camped has got a really nice little stream running alongside it. Can you hear that? Is my camera picking that up? Right, anyway, like I was saying, I'm camped next to a really nice little stream, which is lovely, and I've got my lantern on, which I bring on every one of my trips. But I'm having some problems with it because I charged it up all day today and it was fully charged. Then I got here and I turned it on and the light on it was red, which means that the battery is dead and needs charging. How is that possible when I've charged it to full charge? But now the light's turned green, so at the moment it's working, but it's been really temperamental.
As the strange sounds continued, she tried to stay calm, but the forest felt restless.
Replace it. Can you hear that? I mean, what is it so angry about? What are you chatting about, dude? And why? Why today? It's crazy because whether I was here or not, those noises would be going on. But it's really, I know I've said this earlier on in my video, but it's really hard to hear stuff like that and think rationally. I know what it is. Logic is I know what it is. But at the same time, it sounds so creepy.
The noises went on through the night, and Carrie decided it was safest to stay inside her tent until morning. When daylight finally arrived, the woods felt normal again. Quiet, calm, familiar. She packed up and left the area. Now, let's watch this next video together.